these antitrust lawsuits that are going on right now. I'm seeing conferences are agreeing to the payout, but where's the money go? Is it going to the players? Is it going back to the institutions? What is this payout from these antitrust lawsuits that have been going on? I'm trying to keep up, Ross, and I'm like, does this involve the players or no?
Yeah, it definitely involves the players, and it is complicated. The settlement, and it should be finalized by the end of the week, by Friday. I say a portion of it should be finalized. At least the NCAA and the Power Five conferences, which are the 6 defendants in the case, they will have authorized the settlement by Friday. It's got a long way before it's actually finalized. But the settlement right now, according to documents of sources who are knowledgeable about it, will include kind of 3 parts. So the first part is the back damages to athletes owed NIL payments before NIL was implemented. They're 4 years before NIL, 4 years before athletes could earn compensation from their NIL. Those athletes, around 15,000 of them is the estimate, will be distributed $2.8 billion. That's the back damage and settlement to those athletes. So that's the first part of the settlement. The second part of the settlement is kind of the forward thinking part, where schools will be permitted, not required, but permitted to share revenue with athletes. We don't know exactly the specific amount, but it'll probably be around 20 to 21, $22 million a year per school can share with athletes. It's kind of like there's a salary cap that'll be put on that of around 21, 22 million. But that will fluctuate as the settlement, which is 10 years in length, goes on. So that's the second part. And then the third part is kind of a restructured NCAA, where power conferences will have more control, will be able to create their own rules and probably enforce them. There'll probably be a new enforcement arm. There'll be some changes to some other kind of granular things, scholarship limits, roster, things like that.
So we know that the money's going to be coming in, Ross. Is that what you're saying? With all of these expansion of conferences, I saw that yesterday now that the college football playoff will now expand its viewership opportunities, not just from ESPN, but now TNT will now hold a first-round matchup, I believe 2 first-round matchups in the first couple of years, and then they'll have quarterfinals, and we'll see where that goes along. But it just shows you now that college football is expanding viewership opportunities. That's more money, and now this money can now go into the pockets of the student athletes. But if I'm a volleyball player or water polo or soccer, am I entitled to what the football revenue brings in from these TV contracts? Or is this going to be something that the NCAA is still trying to figure out how to disperse these collective television contracts coming into each university?
That is a key issue.
Yes.
is how you distribute. If you hit the cap, if a school hits the cap around 20, say this for round number 20 million, because of the federal Title IX law, which requires higher education and in education institutions to share, to offer equal opportunity to men and women, do you have to split down the middle that 20 million? Does 10 million go to football and men's basketball, say, and then 10 million get spread out to women athletes? A lot of these women's sports, obviously, in the grand scheme of things, right, cost schools millions of dollars. They lose money. Most of this money, as you mentioned, is generated from TV contracts and ticket sales around football, in a little bit of men's basketball. So how do you do that? Do you follow the Title IX law? Are you required to follow the Title IX law? And do you split the payments? Or is there a way around this where you can give more of the money to the players whose sport generated, right? Which would be football and men's basketball. It is a key question in all of this. And so is these booster collectives. Do they continue outside of the university offering athletes money? And does that money count toward the cap? I don't think it will. So there's a way to potentially for schools to circumvent the cap by going outside with their booster collective. And there's a way to potentially circumvent Title IX by either not doing it or going outside as well. So a lot of questions still on the disbursement of the money to athletes.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.